Okay, well, we're going to get started here. My name is James Hogan. I'm your OptionVue product consultant. Carrie is the other product consultant here. We've had a little bit of a day for a couple of weeks. We do this OptionVue 7 Essentials weekly. Just going through OptionVue, looking at different modules, demonstrating the new features, which I'm going to talk about today. There'll be some resources after I go through OptionVue where you can find more videos and information about OptionVue. And after that, we'll do questions. So if you want me to look at a different part of OptionVue when at the end there, if we have some extra time, we'll do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start by sharing my desktop here with you, and then you'll be able to look at my OptionVue here. I have my chat is open here, so if anybody wants to ask a question as I'm going through here, I'll try to get to it as best that I can. Let me close stuff out here. Okay, so now you are looking at my OptionVue program. With talking about settings before we go any further, if you're doing a trial, or even if you've been a long-time OptionVue user, it's a nice refresher here. But we're going to go to, first you want to go, when you get OptionVue, go to Default Models. One of the buttons here in this section is the slippage. I have my slippage set to moderate. When you get OptionVue, what's going to happen is you're going to it's set to hit bid ask, which means you're going to be modeling getting the worst possible fill. So you're going to want to change that. I used to have my settings to none. Now, really change it to moderate. That way you're going to get filled somewhere in between, and that's how most of the OptionVue users like to have that setting. I also have commissions included in my modeling here. So basically what you're doing is for any underline that you're going to be looking at, we're setting up a default for every time we go into an option or what we call a matrix and put a trade on. This is going to be the default for any time we do that. Now, I'll show you as we go in a little further that you can actually have a default setting here, but then you can go in, say the rut, you want to have some very specific settings for. You can set these defaults up specifically for the rut individually, so that you can kind of customize around these default settings. And this is how we calculate market price. Can change this as well, but the most everything you would keep the same here except the slippage. And that view at the top, default models. We'll go to default auto strike now. It's going to be something I'm going to show you more about individually on underline as well, how we can change this as well. But again, as I have my strike ranges set to large. ITM is in the money, the OTM is out of the money for the calls and the puts, and I have those set to large. That way when I open up a matrix, I have a large range. And every day this is recalculated if you have this auto set, and I'll show you about that a little later as far as how to select or deselect auto strike being enabled. But every day you open up a matrix, OptionVue looks at where the at the money is, and it's going to give you a range in and out of the money based on the at the that particular day. If you want to have particular strike intervals displayed by 1.5, 10, 25, you can change that here. You go up to 12 months listed out. It says number of months listed, but it could also, if you have weeklies, it's going to show you, the first couple weeks of weeklies, and then the monthlies, and then and leaps, depending on how many you have selected here. The default is 5, but you can always change that here. Okay. Also, it's default that when you get OptionVue that none of these are checked off. So if you are interested in looking at these, you will have to come in here and check these off. This way, if I open anything that has a weekly available, it will populate in your matrix. Okay, view, default auto strike. Now we'll go to default matrix. Okay, and I got a question, Corey. Yes, this will be recorded, and I'll show you where to find that later, or send an email to your product consultant, and if you're not able to watch the whole thing, you can your product consultant will get an email recorded link to you. Okay. This you're going to set up how your option chain looks and what information is displayed. Okay. This is standard here. The options is, and you can do this yourself, but to begin with, it's kind of nice because you'll see all the presentations that you watch are going to have basically this setup for the options here. I like to do a 1 by 5. at price, MIV, implied volatility. You always make sure you have a trade field. This is for your proposed trades before they're actually on or you're tracking something. Then you have your existing position. This is important so that if you do have an existing position on, you want to make an adjustment and analyze it, you'll be able to put it in the trade field, look at the trade by itself, look at the existing position by itself, and then also be able to look at both of them together. And then I have a delta in my fifth color. What you would do after you have this set up is you would hit set default number 1. Okay. You can have up to 3 defaults, and I actually have a second default set up already, and on this I can get that default. And I like to switch between the two because now I can quickly go from my first default to looking at the last bid, ask, volume, and open interest. Some very specific information about that particular option. Oh. And then you can change the strike order to descending or ascending if you want to. This is the default setting here. Okay. So okay there, and again, these default settings are up here under View at the top. Okay. You want to look at, I might have also wanted to show you one more thing here in the models. Another thing that's important down here, this is defaulted, is using the combined call and put skews. You'll probably come across in some of the modeling if you're want to do some analysis if you're doing calendars or you're doing something, and maybe you're just doing something in the calls by itself. You're not doing any lines where you're in the put as well. You can check and uncheck that. There's been some debate between different individuals that are modeling this, but this is where you would turn off, so that if you turn off this and you're in the calls or you're in the puts, you're only going to be doing the modeling based on the volatility showing in that in the calls or in the puts, depending on what side of that you're trading. Okay, now go into the quotes display here. This is where you initially start with OptionVue. You can customize these fields, columns actually, to whatever you want them to be. For instance, I would left click on the bid here, and I would hit the insert button on my keyboard and put in something else if I want to. Now, double-clicked in this blank column now, and it gives me some more parameter I can put in here. Say I didn't want to do that. I'm going to cancel this, and now I can hit on my keyboard the delete key, and it gets rid of that. There's surrounds for that. For instance, people on a Mac don't have that. You can always go over here to edit it in the column. Okay. To be able to do that as well. Okay, here, if you wanted to go to the insert button here, type in your symbol, hit enter, and there it is. Okay, so hit delete, gets rid of it for you. Okay, in order to create a group here, this is considered a group. Okay, my indices group. This is my random group. Okay, this green here means that I am streaming quotes right now. If I click on this once, left click on it, I have now suspended the quotes just for this section. Okay, that might be something you'd want to do if you were running a trade finder or something like that. Trade finder goes out and it's using a lot of data to do its calculations. Sometimes it's nice to take a snapshot, freeze it. You'll get faster results. Do something like that. Not necessarily mandatory that you do that, but I'll do that often when I'm in a trade finder. For here, this A will alphabetize all of the symbols in your group for you. You can do that for each group as well. To create a group, you're going to hit the insert button, and you're going to hit begin using a pound sign. Okay. Hit enter, and now I've created this new group down here. Okay, I'll delete that, and now I have gotten rid of that, and I have it in my one indices large group now. A time column, that way I can see if there's anything going on with a quote might not be coming in right away. Another thing you can do down here are we have this is newer. This is our tab section, you can have different group of quotes place to look at. Okay. So basically, this is I come in here and I do talking to customers and whatnot. I'll go in here, add some symbols in here quite often. That's why it might look a little disorganized. That's why I have random here. Anytime someone comes out and says, I want to look at this. But now I can click over to my futures, and I have my futures all here. If I go over to FinViz and I do a scan and I'm looking for, maybe earnings is coming out, or I'm looking for something that's trading above a certain amount. FIZ is a nice area. You can go in and you can basically copy the symbols over there, drop them in Excel, and then you go in here from Excel and you could copy those and then just paste symbols and it would populate this here. Okay. Well, I do have different groups. I have an ETF section where I have these broken down as well. So to create these, you just basically right-click. You can delete the tab by right-clicking. Manage the tabs, which will allow you to organize them in what order you want. You can rename it, or you can insert a tab, name it, and then it will give you a blank quotes display here to go ahead and populate. So that's a new feature that we like down there. Okay, let us go into a matrix here, and we'll just go into the diamonds. Okay, and because I have my weeklies checked off, it's going to show me my weeklies here. It's going to show me all the months out, and I only have 5. Okay, so this shading on here, so this is where that shading comes on. Shading, which S here, will pop their deviations. Because my color, the standard deviation. So this color is going to be the first standard deviation. This one's going to be the second, and the white will be the third. Okay, different colors than those out there. In order to change some preferences, you could go up to File at the top, and then Preferences, and it gives some more things as an option view for you. For instance, fonts. I have an original font set up in my quotes display. You can do a little bit more finer and detailed. Len Yates called it crispy. If you want to have smaller font or larger font, I have the larger font going. You can do that here. It's a way you can customize your colors under this tier in the preference. If you want, and I'll show you this in a second, remember I pointed this out, the T+ lines in the graphic analysis. You can have it display dates or just a T+ number. Okay, in a moment as well. Okay, so I'm going to, and then you can see now this is my default setting that I have going up here when we went into the default matrix format. If I want to change to my second default, right next to this format button, you're going to see this M123. You can click on the number, and it's going to change to that last bid-ask volume and open interest. You can always change these columns on the fly if you want to. Right-click a column heading here. You can change it to whatever you want to change it to. Okay. You can default by clicking on that if you want to. Now, say you made some changes and you like this new form you have set up here that you've done by just right-clicking and changing things around in here. If you find something that you like, you can always click on this M, which is memorize. Click on M, and then go to M, click on the 3, and now it's memorized and stored this to the number 3 here. So again, I can click on my original default 1, and then click on my 3, and it saved that for me, which name is my second one. So you would change column headings here. Just a position, just a color, so I can get to a graphic analysis. So I can show you something here. You always enter things in the trade field, never in the existing position field. If you want to put an existing position on, you would first put it in the trade field, convert trade, and then it moves to the existing position field. The reason behind this is it creates a record of it in this transaction log. Okay, the test account that I have, so I've got a lot of other things going on here. But you can see 10-3 just now. I just did this. Okay, if you actually did put this trade on, and you, through your broker, you could always go in here and highlight that and change the actual price you got filled at if you like, as well as commission if you wanted to. Okay, that's the transaction log. We're going to go ahead and analyze this. And now up here, because I have those in my preferences, it's defaulted to say T plus 1, which would be today plus 1 day, which would give you, which is projecting the line out until tomorrow. Solid line always represents expiration. Okay, and under File, Preferences, here, where you can change if you want to see the exact date. Here and change the dates to be whatever you want to as well. Okay, you can go up to 5 lines if you want to. I'm looking at only 2 days left, so there's no other lines for it to look at. So, but as you can see down here, you have standard deviations, and the second standard deviation is up this way. Okay, the graphic analysis, if we have more time, I want to cover some other things, but I really wanted to show you what that preference does as far as changing the date there. Plus lines to actual dates. Okay. Now, one of the new latest features in 7.16 is you can now. Someone had a question of this. Wanted to change this number. Now, if you change this number now, as in previous versions, let's say change it to 20. Watch the standard deviation colors will move and get bigger. Okay. We have parameters in here. This is a newer one, probability of ever touching. Okay. You click on probability of ever touching, which is right down here. This is kind of similar to the free probability calculator we used to have here, but this is going to give you the probability that it's ever going to touch this. It's expiration, for instance, for February, 37 days. Now you have this new button pops up when you select that column. So now you can hit this PT button here. It's going to run this calculation for us, and it's going to give us a probability of ever touching with the volatility being at 20%. Okay. Now we're looking at 138 here, just so you can reference it. It's showing 66% probability that's going to touch within 37 days here. But just back to roughly what it was before. And you have to, it's a Monte Carlo based function that it's doing here. So you have to hit that PT button again, and you'll see that it is going to adjust these numbers for us there. So a big role in when you're standard deviations and probabilities here. The other thing that changed as well is this probability of it finishing in the money. So there's a probability of it touching, and then a probability of it finishing in the money. And again, same thing here. If you change it, I can hit enter here, and it's going to change right away for us. Okay. So those are the things that have changed. We've now made it so that these functions here will automatically change for us if we change this Volte number up here. Okay, the chat window here. Dollar amount. Somebody's asking about something on the risk graph. Let's question real quick here. Let me go to analyze here, and there's a way to change this so that it's only showing whole dollar amounts instead of, there's strange numbers with random cents here. You can always drag it in and out. All I'm doing here is I'm left clicking and holding it down, and you can drag this in and out if you want to resize it. Okay. More specifically, John, to what you do is you right click anywhere in the graph and change the interval to $1 if you want to. Right, and there you go. Right click, for whatever reason, where the at the money is at. So if I wanted to change the at the money to actually, or the center price to be 130, just 5, just for instance, hit OK. Now you'll have whole dollars here, 50 cents because it's at 34. Where we're at right now is at 34.51. John, I don't think you were able to see that. I'm sorry. Oh, it is shared. Okay, good. You could see that. Answers your question there. Covered the new probability buttons here that will now change if you change this Volte number. Let Oh, I wanted auto strikes. Now we're in the diamonds. Let's say we wanted to customize this a little bit further with our modeling and what strike we're seeing here. Okay, so you would click on the, well, let's click on the define button here. Okay, now looking, defining specifically the diamonds because that's what we're in right now. Okay, again, this is large and large. Now, let's say, for instance, you were the money that's when you can, that strike was not there because the auto strike, even set to large, does not show a large enough money range for you. Well, what you would do in that case is you would go to the Options tab. Okay, here, if you want to. The next out will be, if you just click on that button there, it'll count. And then add strikes manually, you will go down here and you can type them in manually. Okay, type in 152. I just hit the down arrow, and then 153. To be in any specific order. If you're going, a lot lower, say you want to put in a 110, you could add then a 155, a 164. It doesn't matter what order it's in; it's going to populate the way it's supposed to. Okay. Now, for instance, let's say that you want to go out, you close for the day. If you don't uncheck this button here, you're going to lose all the strikes that you now create. So by unchecking that auto strike enabled button, you're now able to enter strikes in. You can close out for the night, come in the next day, those strikes are still going to be there. The auto strike enabled tells OptionVue each day to open it up, give fresh matrix wherever the at the money's at. Base that at the money. Okay. If, for instance, we have weekly set up in the defaults, if you don't want to look at weeklies, you would this particular underline. Okay, and you see here that because of that, we're overriding, because I unchecked this, we're overriding the default settings here. So Actions tab is where you would add more strikes. Auto strike unchecked is how you keep those strikes in there. Okay. For back testing, for instance, if you're using Backtrader, a nice thing to remember to do is that auto strike thing is important there too. But also if you're back testing, store to an existing asset file. Going forward, when you're back testing, keeps the strikes in order. It saves any changes you've made. So this is the default when you're in Backtrader, is to store to a temporary asset file. You want to store it to an existing one. Okay, here you can go anywhere back as far as January 2001 and do back testing every half an hour and step through time if you want to. Those of you that didn't know. Another feature is if you have Backtrader now. It's kind of new. It's been new since we've had OptionVue 7, but if you only have delayed data with Backtrader, you don't have to go into Backtrader mode anymore. If you just want to see the most current prices, you would simply click on this little refresh button here, and it's going to give you the most half an hour worth of data that we have. Okay. So I kind of, let me check at my chat, see if there's anything else there. Okay, nothing else there. I kind of went a little quicker through those topics than I thought I would. Let me the resources I wanted to show you, and then we'll come back and you guys think of something you want me to talk about, whether it's graphic analysis or setting up alerts, trade finder, anything. But let's talk about the resources first here. Okay, I'm going to this YouTube channel first. This is cool. Something I started in August, and what it is I've been posting all the most current and recent OptionVue videos. I'll do one or two every couple of weeks, maybe some short ones. Here's a short one that Jeremy did for us. Oh, I got to show you those quotes too. That's what I got to do. But this will be a nice place to come to. You can subscribe and you'll get an email every time I post a new video up here, or can just come check out when I want to. But I post a lot of stuff here. If you have interested in the Vixx trading system that we offer, you can see how to quickly get it up here. Our mentors are giving presentations on Mondays now at 1 o'clock. You can come here and look at those as well. It's a nice credit spread system that Steve Lentz talked about at the CBOE. But this is a great, like I said, there's like 25, 30 videos on here that you can and watch. And just OptionVue James, if you do a search for that on YouTube, like right up in the right here, typed in OptionVue James, it would take you right to my channel. Okay. Also, I want to show you our website here. To get around here, if you're interested in the VXX trading system, this right here above the car there, you know, this right here is going to give you tons of information about the system, videos, articles, more different articles explaining how the whole roll works and how the ETNs are trading these things. Give a nice overview of the whole system here. Of course, there, support is an awesome area. Underneath our phone number directly is the support tab in the gray here. This is going to give you some videos, tutorial, the PDFs if you're a reader or want to download or print anything off. These PDFs are going to be the place to go. Okay. What's new over is a nice. Yeah, it's going to show you each upgrade, new, and each of the releases here to read more about it. Also in here, if we got anything going on as far as the expo, I'm actually going to be at the New York Traders Expo and here now. So be there for that. Me and Steve once are going to that one. Resource to look at our newsletters as well. A lot of good stuff. I'll just click on one of these to show you. And clicking on that's going to show you all the most recent ones. And it quickly gives you a little title heading for each of the articles in there, so you can get through there. This is a nice article that Len wrote about the VXX. Okay. Where's the other one I want to see? There's Steve talking about his lens volatility indicator. And there's also, you'll find OpScan. You'll find some strategies in here and OpScan formulas to go with it in these articles as well. So what's new is the button to check that stuff out. Okay. And then we have Discover Options website. If you are a mentoring student, these are the inside wires that are for our mentoring students. These are all the archived inside wires. Pretty advanced topics that are all archived here for our students to go back and watch if they weren't able to attend the meeting. So let's go back and look at OptionVue again, because I want to show you the quote. Now, you can this is one of the other things with 7.15 and 7.16 is now if you have an account with Interactive Brokers or with Thinkorswim, you can get that feed into OptionVue. The integration is another subscription. It's $60 a month for these, what we call broker quotes, and it'll work for either IB or Thinkorswim. You simply, once you have a subscription, right-click here and drop down here, and you can see Interactive Brokers or TOS. Okay, I have a real-time feed with Thinkorswim. I know you guys have seen it pop up there, but if you don't have a real-time, it doesn't work as well, so I'm not going to switch. But if you want us live in action, you can talk to Jeremy here. He can show you. He's got a real-time feed with TOS and with IB. All you have to do is have your TOS open or your TWS open, and you'd be able to, OptionVue will automatically pull those quotes in from your trader workstation. Okay. TOS, or it would say IB if you have that connection going on. Okay. Some people will say, hey, if my quotes, for any reason, quotes go down, like from the storm that happened, and we had some data problems. Having this backup feed might not be a bad idea if you do have QuoteView now, just to be able to switch over, as kind of a backup data feed. Or it's a less expensive route to go if you are subscribing to Backtrader or delayed data right now. So just another choice as far as a data into OptionVue. I think there was another question up here. I'm going to take a look. Okay, question from, let me look up here and make sure there's anything else on here. There are a couple. Okay, I have what's called QuoteVue 2000. To have an extra 1,000 symbols, it's an extra per month. Per year in the QuoteVue subscription. We have QuoteVue 1000 and we have QuoteVue 2000. The extra 1,000 is what allows me to have that extra number go above 1,000. If you're hitting your symbol limit, you'll see it start flashing at 1,000 up here. So if you're interested in that, John, or any ideas, let us know. We can add that to your subscription. A question up here from if you trade a leg that specifically entered strike but leave auto strike ticked, does that keep the special strike and the next day? And it may keep it in there. It really depends on where, if you had a big swing, we open up with a huge gap the next day, and that's a good. Let me find out about that. I think Jim might jump on here, and that's a good question for Jim Graham. That's a good question, and I'll answer that before we're done here. We got one. Lewis is saying something about trades from platforms going into the transaction log. There is a feature in our transaction log. I'll show you this right now. Where if you if you have TOS, there's this TOS feature now. I'm going to click on this, and basically, if you have your actually you have your input your TOS data here. I've never done it before because I don't trade through TOS, but that is a feature you can do. You'd have manually, nothing you can set up automatically for that, and we do not have that available for any others as far as iExpress or anybody else like that. I don't know if anybody knows. This is kind of an old news here, but I have Options Express, so and I actually have an Options Express account set up for that. But what I do is I could hit this trade button. You wouldn't do it this way. You would go up to info. I would go into a new account. Okay. Once you did this, you could then configure the trade button. Button sends orders directly to Track Data if you have an account with Track Data, or Express. Like for instance, I put my trade in Options in OptionVue. I hit my trade button, and my Options Express account opens up with the options trades ready to be executed there. If you want more information about Track Data, you can find out more on our website, and I'll show you that real quick here. Trade. Learn more, and this is how you can trade directly through OptionVue. There's a little video that will demonstrate, real quick video, and show how it works. It's kind of a neat view that I don't trade through Track Data either, so I don't have access to show how to do that. But this video demonstration will show you. It's a nice way to kind of work your order when you're putting that on. Another question here. I had that question today again, Lewis. Someone's asking if we are going to have any real integration, not just data coming in, but integration with any other companies to, trade directly to the platform. I think it will be down the road. I don't have any names or any specific details about that. We are going to be working with Trade Monster, Options Monster next, as far as data integration. So it's going to eventually be IBTOS and Monster to get your data feed in there. But as far as the integration, I think it is down the road here. The Trade Monster integration, you can look at that happening within about 2 to 2.5 months. After that, I would think, Lewis, that we're going to head in that direction as far as, because we have the relation with Track Data for the equities and indexes and their options. But to do the futures and futures options, we're probably going to be working with someone. I don't specifically name who that's going to be yet. Um, John, sorry. No, that only works with Options Express. If, like you said, when you guys saw me go in here and configure the trade button, and put your trading site, you could. It's going to work like it does with Options Express. You could, of course, put a right on there. You hit the trade. It's going to open up whatever site you have in there. Um, I have someone asking me about the VXX. We'll take a quick look at that and where it's at right now. Actually have an account that I created just so I can track it as of November 23rd, which was the last crossover of the Vixx Tools. I actually have a Vixx Tools tab here. Okay, you're doing the trading system. That page I showed you can learn a ton about it, but this is basically what the system talks about trading the XIV or the VXX. Okay. These are ETNs. If you want to trade the ETFs, you can go. These are the symbols that you. I clicked to create an asset file for it because it doesn't trade options yet. But this is what you would be long. So if you crossed over and you, when the crossover happened, you went long the XIV like the system says, this is where you would be right now. Cash account, no margin. Okay, as of November 23rd, 2011. I think I also did one where it would, as of April when we actually came out with the system ourselves. This is where it would be at April 2012. Roughly around that time. I think you put it on a couple days later. Okay. So let's get a price chart of this, and we'll look at the Vixx Tools right here. So you want the lens volatility indicator to 15. I'm going to have the VX diff at its section here, and then at 15 days. And I'll even put on the fair value line, which is only going to work right now for the VXX and XIV. So if you were looking to get in, and Len does say get in as long as we're above the, or this is November 23rd when it said to go long. We're still above that, shooting up again here. He says to go long. Now this fair value line is nice because it gives you kind of an entry point to get in. You're definitely going to want to get in under that line. So it's saying, right now these figures, the fair value line is saying that it's a good entry point now. Okay, so it's full steam ahead with going long the XIV. Towards the end of the year, there we got close. We got right around the 0.5 line here. Way beneath the 1. There was a lot of anxiety, anticipation. People were trying to make a little bit ahead of the gun and get out, but stay in the system, you stay in it, and we've made a full recovery from right over the year in December there when we had that big drop and spike in volatility. So, but yeah, it's full steam ahead again with the XIV. If you do have this system or you you subscribe, you get a monthly newsletter. It's usually a couple days before the month or a couple days after, depending on where the weekend and trading days fall. And if there's ever a crossover, you would immediately get an email from us saying that the crossover has happened. It's time to now go long the VXX. First, of course, close your position in the XIV. Okay. Questions here. And let me see if I can get Jim Graham to answer that other question for us while we're and there are questions, you guys just let me know. I'll be able to show you something else in here if you'd like. I'll give you questions. I'll be right back. One second. And let me see Susan's question here. She asked me privately. I'm going to actually copy it, Susan, and Jim can see. So now I've got my Susan's question answer out there. I'll show you if you newer users haven't seen this yet. This is how you would do this traffic analysis. Okay, let's say we're going to look at the Russell. I'm going to put a vertical here. No particular reason why. Okay, and what you would do is you want to make sure you restore down. Okay, you'll see this up here next to help, restore down. Make my smaller here. I'm going to hit this button right here. There's 4 buttons: print, erase, there. Okay, I've got positions on in this matrix trade fields, which is why we're seeing this way. But this is where you will be able to see this. Now, I do obviously have some other trades in there. I'm going to simply click on this January. Okay, there. It's going to show me this spread. Actually clear the trades out I have in here. By clicking on this pencil, you'll clear any trades, existing positions, whatever you want to do. Prices. I'm going to actually clear the trades. Now there's nothing to analyze in the graph. Okay, I'm going to again put this again, and then I'll click on this button here, and that's what it looks like. And it's because I go in here and people ask me to look at different things in the trades, maybe way out of the money or in way farther out months that I was looking at, and you can tell by my graph right away that there were some trades on there. So when you're doing work, sometimes it's easier than a lot of legs on going through and deleting them yourselves. But click erase all those trades. It'd be a lot quicker for you there. It's gone there. If you're back testing and doing this way with that side-by-side analysis open, because as you step through time, that graph will change. If you had this side-by-side analysis up and running when you and then go into back trading if you're back testing that. And I'm trying to wrap it up here, folks. If there's any questions, yeah. Question was for some reason everything is showing private. I'm going to stop sharing here for a second, so maybe I can have Jim look at this. So I'm going to send this to all attendees, and Jim's right here. Here's the question: if you had a leg at a specifically entered strike but leave auto strike, so say for instance you have auto strike on, and does OptionVue keep that strike? Let's say there was a huge gap the next day. Would that strike, would that show up there if you have a position on it?
It adjusts it, but it will never, auto strike will never delete a strike position.
Okay, so that answers your question, Susan. It will stay there. If you have a position on that and you do have auto strike checked off, it will write that you have a position on. So that was a good question.
Actually keep the whole range up to that.
Actually keep the whole range up to that strike you have a position on. So that's good to know. I learned something today too. Thanks, Susan. But this will be is being recorded. So check out my YouTube channel that I showed you. It'll be up there if you weren't able to see the whole thing. It's also going to be posted on our Facebook if you are and do the Facebook thing. But any questions at all, feel free to give us a call. I'll be presenting next week, again on Thursday. If anybody has any ideas on topics, go ahead and shoot me an email at james.hogan@OptionVue. And so they email me if you want to, and about any topics. I'll be happy to present on that next week. And the following week, Karen will be doing it. So, thank you for participating, and You all have a great trading week here. See you next week.